things are changing. I think like there was this, like Wall Street had this obsession with the subscriber numbers, and they still do. I mean, largely they still do. But I'm starting to see a lot more trades, a lot more of these like the CNBCs of the world starting to talk more and more about, making money. Like, it's not just about your subs. It's are you turning a profit? Are you making money? And I think we're going to start seeing more of that kind of seep into the conversation. When you start seeing these quarterly earnings, I think there's going to be a much more, a stronger focus on that profitability. I think the whole, I think the subscriber game was kind of phase one. And I think phase two is going to be like, okay, you have a lot of subs, but are you making money? I think that's what's going to be the focus coming up. I
ARPU.
really, really do.
Isn't that the term, ARPU?
I think so, yeah.
ARPU. It stands for, I think, revenue per user, average revenue per user, or something like that.
Yeah.
So that might become the entire focus. Whereas before it was just part of it. I think now it's going to become the entire thing.
And I mean, streaming is becoming a pretty mature marketplace. So like, for example, how much more subscriber growth can actually be gained, right? Like, so Wall Street loves growth because growth makes a lot of people a lot of money. But eventually you do have to ask the question of, well, are you profitable or not? And you have to operate within that profitability. And I think that's where we can ride the growth curve. And as fans, riding the growth curve is awesome, because that's where all of the streaming services go. Who do we pay a bunch of money to develop content for us so that we get more subscribers? But as soon as that spigot starts to run dry, and it's like, now you have to operate profitably, you start to see budgets shrink. Because now we're trying to play the game, a very much a Bob Chapek game. Let's be honest. Right. This is where he built his career on, like, how do I make more money per subscriber? Right. Well, I can't pay a giant director anymore this giant paycheck. I've got to lower the paycheck so I can make more off that each individual subscriber. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But I think you're right. I think the marketplace is kind of shifting. I think that all your stats were really good. I think we'll see where it shakes out from a fan perspective, but hopefully Wall Street will learn how to adjust so that we can keep getting great content.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully this whole kind of shift from Wall Street, like on profitability, like you kind of touched upon it right now, Jay. Hopefully it doesn't impact the quality of the content, because once they start to, because right now it's an arms race. It's like, we'll spend anything to get those subs, whatever it takes. Once they shift to that profitability focus, though, then then these COs are gonna start making cuts because they're trying to, right? Yep. And that, I'm worried when it comes to stuff like Marvel and Star Wars, because I love those properties, and I don't want to see like kind of like a janky looking Star Wars show. I want them to put, and this kind of ties into our last topic coming up, but I want them to put the money in to make it look real quality. And that's the one fear I do have with Wall Street's focus on that profitability, is that some of these studios might start cutting and slashing, and then we start to see a dip in that quality.
Well, and
something we haven't seen yet.
Netflix has had that as part of their model, because so if you look at some of what Netflix has spent money on, they do a lot more reality TV shows than Disney Plus does, at least based on what I can tell. Right. Disney Plus has some Discovery, more reality focused shows, but reality shows tend to be cheaper to produce. Netflix does a lot of comedy stuff, and comedy usually is not a giant budget. You don't have a lot of CG to work to pay for and stuff. So they'll do not only a bunch of stand-up specials, and pay pretty good money to those stand-up specials, but they also will give Adam Sandler huge contracts to just release movies on Netflix, because those don't have the same level of budgets that a Marvel or a Lucasfilm kind of project would have. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out over time as well, for sure.
In Sector 2. Malfunction in Sector 2. All droids will be shut down for reloading of labor programs. Stand by for power disconnect.